Hi everyone, this is Susie from Minnesota Zone 4, and I thought I'd show you what my garden looks like at the end of June. It is June 28th today. There's something eating my tree up here. I don't know if you can see it. I have my bug suit on. The mosquitoes are horrendous. And it's hard to see through the netting here, but something is eating just the tops. But everything else looks good. I've been keeping it watered. A few days ago, we ended up having some torrential downpours. I would say in 30 minutes, we got about 2 inches of rain. My backyard looked like a lake. And then, of course, the mosquitoes come. And the rain back here did a number on some of my plants. My coleus is a little smushed, but I'll trim that up and it'll bounce back. Everything else has in here. And this is the third time I'm trying to film this video, just because first time I ran out of memory and my battery died and I was almost finished. And then the second time I had some family members come over. And I have to be somewhere, so I want to get this done because they're talking storms in a couple days. And we all know what happens with storms. Either they're okay or everything looks like crap afterwards. I was going to show you too. I don't know if I showed you this in another video, but normally I don't spray for weeds. But I will here. Look at this. I think this is called plantain. This just took over and it's such a broad leaf. And this is my front yard. I have dogs, so I do not like to spray if I don't have to, but this is... if I don't do something, it'll take over. So I'm going to have to get that in. And I know some viewers had asked, my lawn is very green. I do have weeds. I use milk organite. I do like an application every month. I think the only month I don't do is it August? Not sure. If it's extreme heat, I don't. And if it's really dry. But right now we've had enough rain. I have my garden art out. Just got it out yesterday. I forgot all about it. My lamium is still blooming. Love this ground cover. I love the variegated leaves. And it's easy to control. I will be trimming up my hostas here. If I'm a little jerky, the bugs are horrible. My hands are so bit up from the first 2 videos. I sprayed myself. Might as well just bathe in bug spray. Yesterday I spent the whole day weeding, weed whipping, mowing. And weeding this garden was lots of maple seeds. The little trees growing. I had to get that done. Bunch of hostas in here. One of my favorites, this is Curly Fries Hosta. I just planted these up. This is called Mighty Mouse Hosta. This is a mini one. I want to say that's a columbine, so I just left it. I don't plant columbine. It just kind of self-seeds from areas. I think the birds help me out with that. And I like it. It's really pretty. This is an Astilbe. I grew it for the foliage, and which is a good thing because I don't think the flower heads are much on this. They're kind of... I'm not going to say ugly because it is flowering, but not as pretty as they can be. Ghost Fern. This gets pretty big. That is loving it here. I have planted Caladiums in here. Some are doing good. Some are a little rotten from all the rain we had. So I'm just letting it do its thing. Big one here, Summon Substance. You'll know it's one of my favorites. Hardy Geranium is blooming here. Just like the different textures. The one plant I completely forgot about was Pulmonaria, and that is a good texture plant and some variegation, so we'll see. I do have labels by these, so if you want me to go into more detail about all my hostas, some I know, some I don't. Aconocloa, all gold. This one looks really good. Snow on the Mountain. I was going to trim that. That is on my to-do list. I'm hoping today. Again, I have to be somewhere, but I hope when I get back I can get to it. It's this common milkweed. This is a very shady spot. It's never bloomed. I'm leaving it because it kind of looks like it. Golden Japanese Spikenard. This is gorgeous. It does get to shrub size, and then it does die down to the ground every year, and then it comes back up, which I also have planted over here. But for some reason, I think it's just we've had a lot more rain this year than probably more rain this year than we had last year combined. My only gnome, turtle head. Don't want to make you too dizzy here. I'll show you some of my pots, but I'll do another update a little bit later. But this one is blooming right now. This is the Tahitian bridal veil. It's a favorite. I love it. Bush honeysuckle is blooming, native to this area. I'm not smelling a scent on it, so I'm not sure if there should be some, but I was watching one of my previous videos when I first planted it, and this is probably quadrupled in size. So it's loving this spot here, which is good, because I had some issues with that spot. Lily's coming to an end. Again, this is a warmer spot because it's on the south side of the house and by the foundation of the house. Trimmed off all my flower heads over here. Looking good. I've been laying down sluggo, and that seems to be helping, but also I've seen one earwig. Otherwise, they're not around. And I don't know if it was a winter or just what I've been applying to the ground. My bleeding heart is starting to turn yellow. Won't be long and it will be going dormant. We've got 97 degrees predicted tomorrow and high humidity. Even now, with the bug suit on, I'm having a hard time breathing with this netting, but my comfrey, the rain really did a number on this. So I trimmed this all up and it'll pop back. Much bushier. Not quite as tall. Goat's beard is... Oops, one second, gotta smush him. Oh, and he was full of blood. And let's see, I have one little bloom left that's going. The bees love this. I might go get some spray paint and paint this. Spray it. I really love it. And I don't trim the flower heads because I just think it adds some interest. It's a really neat looking plant. This is Curly Fries Hosta when it's more established. So this is what it will look like. Again, one of my favorites. I love the leaves. Brennera, one of my viewers had suggested this, so I planted it here. She had said it loves morning sun. This gets morning sun, no afternoon. And I have another one over here. So hopefully. It's a little squished here, but I think this is a really good spot for it. And back here I leave this open so the person can get to the meter back there. Might have to move some of these hostas because someone's substance is a thug. But I love it. Oh, look at that. It is about probably 7 feet in diameter all around. My black snakeroot is looking really tough. Again, we've had a lot of rain. I don't know if that's getting rotten from that, or maybe it's just getting crowded out by the summon substance. I'm going to have to figure out where I want to move it because most of my areas are boggy. And I've tried it in boggy and it doesn't. It does rot out. I have to figure out where I want to plant those. Those are all ones that I had rooted. They're looking really good. Back here, this is a Majesty Palm. I wanted to do some of my containers. I had an idea and I couldn't find it anywhere, but Amazon had it. So I got it there, and this is amazing. It's bigger than what I thought it would be. So I'm just kind of using it as a backdrop. Once my rain barrel is empty, I'm going to shift that back just a little bit, and then I'm going to move that one over there just to kind of cover up the rain barrel. But all in all, I think it looks good. And I like the green behind this. I think it makes those colors pop a little bit more. I have Caladiums planted down here. My dogs have been leaving them alone. I thought they were going to break them. Let's see. I'm going to go this way. Into Mosquito Alley. And again here, my dogs are always in the back. I don't have them in the front. I have a lot of mushrooms in the front. And I've already gone that route with the toxic. So yeah, those are all weeds. I'm thinking clover. So yes, my lawn is green, but again, it's weedy. I'm back here. My elephant ears just started coming up, so they do take a long time. This is the one that overwintered for me. I was surprised. It was with my other dahlias, and I'm like, oh. And then there's a little tiny leaf at the top there. I'm not sure what that's about. I've never seen that before, but I have 2 other shoots. They're gonna love this heat coming up. Hostas look really good. Again, I've been putting sluggo down. I did a mass planting of caladiums. All the red little shoots are caladiums. The bunnies are doing a number on everything. Squirrels too. They like to dig in here. But I also have neighbors that are feeding them corn cobs. So I'm finding a lot of corn cobs dug amongst my plants. They're being nice, but squirrels are a pain in the butt. Let's see here. I have different kinds of caladiums. They're not all one color, so I think it'll add some nice interest here amongst all of the green. Again, I know what these hostas names are, so let me know if you want me to do a video just on my hostas. Again, I know some of them and some I don't because I've gotten them from friends and family, and also like rummage sales, they'll have them. You can see this one's a little more, that's a pretty big one. And this tree is huge. And I don't even know the diameter of that. Maybe 6-7 feet, if not more. This is a huge tree. Aggressive, shallow roots, but a beautiful shade tree. A little messy, but you know what? When it gets this hot, it saves on the cooling bill. This is gorgeous. This one, for some reason, something's loving this. You can see these little pellets. And that's my sluggo I've been putting around. This one is called World Cup. This is amazing. Even last year and they were plugs. They were small. And honestly, I think I'm going to go that route because my new hosta garden that I planted, I feel like I basically paid for a pot and soil because when I took the plant out, all of the soil crumbled around it and all that I was left with was a plug. And I do recommend New Hampshire hostas. I'm gonna go there, and the selections, it's a little overwhelming, but they're worth it. Again, this right in here, I don't know if I can focus, that belongs to my tree root. So I've got very shallow roots and it sends up all these shoots, so it's a constant battle to keep these trimmed. I have to get in here and trim my hostas. Again, I grow my hostas for the foliage and not the flowers. Some I do depending on size. Back here is my newly planted fern a little while ago. And then I have a philipendula in here somewhere. It'll grow up. And then in the middle here, I've got a pine tree that I'm trying to... Down in here, that is my toad lily. I'm just glad it came back, because a lot of toad lilies, I see it's hardy to zone 5s. And I lost a lot of plants. But that one made it, so very happy. Alright. I hope I'm not making you too dizzy. I'm trying to beat the clock here. Oh, and I have a mosquito on my ouch. Primrose is still blooming. I love the yellow, especially in shade. It just makes it pop. Asiatic lily is blooming. I have mainly orange and then the pink one. I had a white and, oh, no. I think I do have a white one. I think that's a little later. I take it back. Lady's mantle. I'm leaving the bloom so far. They're looking good still. Again, one of my favorites. I do have Pulmonaria in here. I just love that texture. It's a little fuzzy, coarse. Slugs never bother it. And loves the shade. Have to be careful though, it doesn't care for being too wet. So I do know that it did come back, but it was very rotted out. Daylilies. Of course, street sweepers are coming. Look at all the blossoms on this one. And this is in part sun. This is in full sun, so it's loving this area. So I leave them. Not my favorite. But, you know, it still flowers. And it likes this, and it tolerates the wet. Orange ones are going to be blooming here. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to put flags by certain plants I want to move next year, because like this hosta here is getting crowded out by all of them. I'm thinking I should move this one. That's huge. And I have a little too much variegation here that I'm not really liking that. We'll see. This Astilbe is probably my tallest one, not blooming yet. Giant fleece flower. The rain took its toll on it. I might stake it up next year, but it's still doing okay. Bees love it. I kind of like the way it's growing. Definitely a focal point in the garden. And Persicaria polymorpha. And this is another Persicaria down here. Smaller version, but I love the leaves. And then it does get a red little flower head. And I'm hoping it self-seeds because I want to move this plant all over. That's newly planted this year. It took the place of T-Rex. I was going to have to move T-Rex anyway because it is just going to be too big for this area. Let's see, another Pulmonaria. Lungwort. I love this Astilbe. I love white in the garden. It's so delicate. I just wish it bloomed longer. Spiderwort. I leave it. I had planted it a few years ago, and then for some reason, maybe it's just because the mulch is finally decomposed and it was able to germinate. It came up last year, so that was the first year. Primrose is still going strong. That Hosta's kind of covered up, but so far it's doing okay. Again, I've been laying down a lot of sluggo. I've seen one earwig, and that was in with my radishes. This is Sabaria sorbifolia, and I love the flower heads. That is just like cottony. Just so, I'd like to touch it, but the bees absolutely love it. Right now I have not been seeing a whole lot of bees. A little bummed about that, and especially my veggie garden. That I'm nervous about, because I definitely need them in there. Stella d'Oro, Daylily. Very common, but you know what it produces? It's a very easy plant. And sometimes it's nice to have easy. My rose looks pitiful. I'll be trimming it up. My roses really took it this year. Normally these are a pretty carefree plant. My hens and chicks are getting rotten. I don't know if you can see. Lots of rain. They don't tolerate it. Tiger Eye sumac. Cannas are looking good. And then Liatris is down here, and I think the rabbits are just snacking, so just gonna leave that be. This is one of my Oriental Lilies. Definitely not doing as good as last year. I'll get a couple blooms, but nothing major. And that is Stargazer. One of my favorites, so a little bummed. Okay, trying to get through my beds here without tripping. My new sun garden. Everything in this garden was just planted this year, about 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna start over here first. I'll do this here. I planted up some herbs, lots of basil, oregano, rosemary's in the middle. I love that planter. Planting it up kind of sucked though, so, but I love the terracotta. It's just really cool. And here I have peppermint. I did the rest of my sun patience, and then lemon verbena. It smells so wonderful, so I got to look up to see what I want to do with that. Alyssum is going to town. My viners are starting to do a really good job here. Morning Glory is climbing pretty good. I have some yellowing, but should have kept up on the watering a little bit better. That's my purple bell vine. You can see it's got the trumpets, or of course the wind picks up. In here I have my strawberries. Yes, they have flowers on. I'm leaving it. I would really like to have some berries this year. I know I'm supposed to get rid of the flowers the first year, but I'm hoping I get to it before everything else does. Have some weeding to do in here, so don't mind that. This is a cone. I have a lot of cone flowers. I love, oh, weird. I have, this is reddish, and then I have a purple one here. Oops. To pay attention to what I'm filming, sorry. Gloriosa Daisy. You can see it's wilty now. When I first did this video, everything was really upright, but the heat is starting to sink in. And all of this stuff with the first year, I've been keeping it watered, but there's still a lot of transplant shock. Bee balm, it's a must-have in a garden. It's just so hardy. I love bee balm. It's so vigorous. And then the sedum looks really good. Daylily here, nice orange blossom amongst the variegation. I'm seeing some just green in here. I'm hoping it turns, that's new growth, but we'll see. A white coneflower. That one's doing really nicely. Let's see if I can get in here. Russian sage. This is a smaller variety. I think it's called Little Spire. Needs to be in full sun. I had some, I would say about 10 years ago, and when my tree started to grow and start shading out a lot, if you have it in part sun, it tends to get really floppy. White Wands Veronica. Bees love this. And then this is a shorter Oriental Lily. I could just stand here all day and smell it. It's just wonderful. And I see the white butterfly. Orange coneflower, that's really pretty. They should be drooping soon. Oh, see, this is just kind of your common one. Purple, lots of drooping, and they're well watered. There's no way they're dry. It's just the heat and the sun, and zinnias look really good. Look at that. That's one of my favorite zinnias so far. This, again, this is the Whirligig series. Peppers look really good. A little yellowing, but I'm okay with that. I might do some Epsom salts. Back here, I have a sweet pepper, Jimmy Nardello. I think it's supposed to turn red. I moved my cat planter there. So hopefully what I have planted there, maybe the bunnies won't jump up. I've trimmed up a lot of my tomatoes because they've had a lot of like yellowing and leaf spot. That's a little early in the season for me, so, and I'm letting them sucker. I need to get tomatoes from something, so normally I do take the suckers off. Not my determinate varieties, but all my indeterminate I do that. I have some flowers on my eggplant, Black Beauty. And here I redid 2 rows of kohlrabi. I did another row of beans back here. So that'll be nice just to have a staggering of them. Back here I have a spaghetti squash, which is looking good. Turn. I took down my teepee, my little arch for my peas. They were toast. So I have a zucchini back here. Carrots. I have not thinned them. I'm just going to leave them alone. A zucchini back here. I have 2. I will thin that to whichever one looks the best in about a week here. And dill. These are my potatoes. They look really good. Really, really good. My zinnias. Oh, I can't say enough about zinnias. So easy, so pretty. And they filled in so nicely. At first I thought I left a little too much room. I have a volunteer tomato plant here. I'm just gonna let it go, see what happens. I'm leaving some of my radishes to seed. And then I pulled out the front ones over there, and look how much my soil has sunk away. I don't think it's ever been that low. I'll be thinning my cucumbers. Okay, I'm back here. This is my Joe pie. I normally pinch it. I think I'm just gonna let it go, see what happens. Sometimes it gets floppy, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel a little bit later. This is the smoke bush that I trimmed up, and that is looking fantastic. I like how much bushier it is, so maybe that was a good thing that it died back a little bit. Pink mink, clematis. This is newly planted this year. My other clematis isn't blooming yet. I'm not sure when that's supposed to bloom. This is a butterfly weed. A very tough plant. You can see down here I have corn cobs. Lots. And then this is another bee balm. This is the red one of my favorites, and I like the red against the white once it starts blooming. You can see some of this is a little bent over. Kind of a pinkish purple Astilbe. So pretty. I have to trim up this peony. And then this is Philopendula. That's going to be something else once that starts blooming here. This lily isn't blooming. This is a pink one, but it's not blooming quite yet. And then my honeysuckle is done, but look at how it's just going all over. I have to figure out how to train it to go to the other side. But that's going to require a ladder. And I'm not sure if I want to be up on a ladder that high with the mosquitoes. I think it's an accident waiting to happen. I'm going a little fast back here so I can beat the bugs. This is a Mandevilla vine. I'm hoping it does start vining and not just stay shrubby like that. One of my dahlias. Looking good. This is what I did with my sun impatiens on my plugs. Hoping this container works out. I'm kind of doing that jellyfish. So we'll see. It's gonna take a bit. But cucumbers. I have a tomato in there. I'm gonna pull it because at some point it will get shaded out. It was just too cute. These are all my ground cherries. Aunt Molly's ground cherries, and look how big. Finally. They were looking pitiful. Cosmos looks really good. This castor oil bean is finally starting to get bigger. Looks like I need to tie that one up. I don't know if you can see in here. These are going to be flower heads. Very, very toxic plant. Every part of it. but I want to save the seeds for next year. I really like how this is looking. Kind of looks like palm leaves. And then I have Nicotiana in here. Again, another toxic plant. Cannas are starting to look really good. Better view of the Nicotiana over here. They're lime green, except for I think one of them is white. I think this is the white one. Otherwise, the rest are lime green. So, just a stray seed that got in there. Still pretty. And then, I don't know if, I know the sun's shining on this. I don't know if you can see. This is Mina labata, or Spanish flag vine. Love this vine. Just an annual here. And again, a yellowing of the leaves, and I think it's just me. Gotta water it a little bit more because it is in full sun. Trimmed up my lilacs here. I don't know if you can see up here. It's starting to bloom again. This is a bloomerang lilac. Not as profusely as in the spring, but some here and there. This is the datura. That finally looks good. I'll be getting a flower head on that. My hydrangeas. Flower heads are starting to form on the majority of them. They're just all over. Makes me a little nervous when it's that full just because of storms. This one here is the furthest along. Can't wait. These are Panicle Hydrangeas, and I love them because they bloom on new wood. Alright, that is what my garden looks like at the end of June. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I am hoping that my next video will be probably an update on my containers. And I will talk to you later. Bye.